Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to Bipolar Lines, your lifeline for honest, unfiltered conversations about loving someone with bipolar disorder. I'm Brooke.
And I'm Laura, and together we are here sharing our experiences with you. So each week we're diving into sometimes messy, but the beautiful truth and some practical skills that help us so that we can help you.
Yes. So to our OG listeners and new, if our show speaks to you, please like, subscribe, follow us on your favorite platform, whether that's video or podcast. You can also join our Facebook group. It's Bipolar Lines Pod. It's a private group. It's a growing group, but it's a great option to ask for advice, share thoughts, feelings, and you can also post anonymously.
If you want to hear more from us, you can also join our Spotify membership where you'll get 2 bonuses a month. Don't worry though, the main feed will remain the same and will always be free, but I will tell you we're much more open about our personal lives when it's behind a paywall and not available for everyone to maybe hear on the main line.
Yes. You get the behind the curtain
Yeah, a little
perspective for
more.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So today's topic is going to be on, I don't even know how we classify this, but we're just going to talk about, from spouse
Like
to spouse, caregiver to caregiver,
the
like
day to day.
the day to day stuff and the
Yeah.
feelings that come along with it. Because we talk a lot about, how and what to do in those situations, but we don't oftentimes allow ourselves the space to sit in those feelings and acknowledge them, that they're real and they're valid.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, before we do that, let's have a check in. How are things with you?
Good. Last week I made myself sick with some work, I don't know, work things that I had to do. So I'm never doing that again. This week was much better in terms of that. And I feel like I'm honestly just recovering from last week. But
Yeah,
otherwise, yeah, normal. I would say pretty normal stuff over here. How about you
that's
guys?
good. I was sick and you'll hear me sniffling, hopefully. Not a lot. I'll do my best. If you start seeing some, just let me know. If it's just coming up my nose. I'm just kidding. But yeah, got been sick. Jeremy is riding the depression train mixed with some rapid cycling stuff going on, which has really been the catalyst for this episode topic, if I'm being, transparent. So he's okay now, right?
Mhm.
We all know. I don't think we talked actually a lot about rapid cycling, but with it, I say he's okay now, but I could go to the bathroom and turn around and have a text from him that's indicating he's not fine. So
Mhm.
this is like the really fast roller coaster of bipolar that we don't get on frequently over here, but we are definitely on that right now for
I
sure.
don't know if this is true, but when our marriage counselor was, like he had a lot of experience in bipolar disorder. And I asked him
Mhm.
once, like, what, but Cody doesn't frequently rapid cycle either. And so I was asking him what would make people rapid cycle more. And he was saying that usually you see more rapid cycling in individuals who aren't medicated or who aren't medicated properly. And I thought that was
Mhm.
interesting. Because he's like, when you're medicated, you are like, that's what the medication is trying to do, is to prevent those, like,
Mhm.
high, low. And he's
Mhm.
like, "So you might get a little bit of, like, hypo dip," and he's like, "But
Mhm.
that's what the medication is supposed to be
Yep.
helping with." And so then when there's a breakthrough, it's big and you recognize it.
Mhm. Mhm.
But I don't know, so
Yeah.
I don't know, that's what he had said, but sometimes
Oh, that
I
makes sense.
wonder.
That makes
Yeah.
sense to me.
Yeah,
I
me
mean, the
too.
medication, and I've always thought of it this way, like, yeah, we see the high lows. I see medication as helping to close that gap so
Yeah,
that
exactly.
the high lows stay within a lower
Yes.
range kind of
That's
thing.
exactly how he described it.
Yeah. So, and that tracks because Jeremy has not been taking his meds. So
Mm.
he's 2 days on forgetting it,
Ugh,
and then, but he's not stable. So I'm
right.
bargaining with him, kinda like, "Okay, but if you just at least take this medication, because if you don't, it will make you sick." Like,
So
you
it's
have
not a
a
forgetting thing?
No, it's intentional as he's
Oh.
depressed. It's
Oh,
a
gotcha. Oh, right, because
Yeah,
he's depressed, yeah.
yeah, it's an intentional choice of the depressed brain because we're teetering in that whole, "I don't wanna get better" place,
Mhm.
and "Nothing's gonna help me" place.
Mm.
And then sometimes it's, "Today's gonna be a better day." Today So we're
Yeah,
just
yeah.
and yeah. So, and then like I said, I was sick this weekend and I didn't check Saturday. Uh, Here's the fun part. I didn't, I can't leave his meds out right now. Right. And, that's our thing. When he's depressed,
Mhm,
I
mhm.
take back the meds. So
For
I
safety
can't leave them
reasons.
out. Yeah. For safety reasons. But I think I left out Saturdays that I didn't put it in the same container. Like also ADHD brain. If he doesn't see them in the same container, it's not gonna like register
Mhm.
that he should take his meds. Also, if you're thinking that like, I don't want this to get better, you're also not thinking I should take my meds.
Right.
That's not,
Yeah.
those 2 don't go together. So, yeah, it's been like that for the last week, and he didn't take them yesterday. They were on the counter in the same place in the pill bottle, and I keep asking him, like, "Okay, where would you like me to put them this time?" And he's like, "Oh, just put them on the counter with my keys." And I'm like, "Okay." So I keep trying to, like, give him uh, include him in that conversation so that maybe it sticks a little better, but if it's an intentional decision from the depressed brain to not take it, it's not really gonna matter,
Right, right.
what I'm doing. So then I just check when I get home because I leave for work at, like, 6:40 in the morning, and he's still in bed. So, yeah, that's where we are with this whole medication stuff. He did text me this morning, and he acknowledged, he said, "I need to do a better job of taking my meds because I know I'm rapid cycling and it's chaos."
Yeah,
So, yeah, um, one of these days, it'll get maybe more stable, but for now,
yeah.
that's where we are.
Yeah, I mean, talking about the day to day, because, a lot of times we talk about in and out of like major episodes and just kind of maybe even the aftermath of that. When we were talking about nuances in, I think, our last episode,
Mhm.
there are these nuances that happen maybe frequently. And I don't think that gets talked about a lot.
Yeah.
It's not like, I mean, from the outside, it may just look like, "Oh, life is normal, life is better because Cody's not sick." But
Right.
there are things that happen, and frankly, it's exhausting. And I think
Yes.
it's okay to admit that. Like,
Oh, it has to be okay.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
it doesn't mean 2 things can be true at the same time. Just because we're exhausted from the space that we exist in when our loved ones are struggling and not in an episode doesn't mean we don't love them. It doesn't mean we love them
yeah.
any less, it doesn't mean any of that.
Which I think is why. Yeah, I mean, I was just saying, I think it's why I'm reticent to talk about it because since there is such a stigma with mental illness, caregiver burnout from any other, disability, if you will, is real and acknowledged, and people
Mhm.
have empathy for it.
Yeah.
Caregiver burnout, or like just when you're feeling exhausted from loving someone with a mental illness, is met up frequently with like, you should leave. Wow, that's a lot. You need to get out of there.
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
I wouldn't put up with that. And then
Right.
that's not helpful. That's not what I'm looking for. So then I
Mm-mm.
think that my tendency then is to not acknowledge it. But in not acknowledging it, it's not helping the community that's listening to us. So I want
Correct.
to acknowledge it today because just because and I am, for the most part, a very positive, happy person. I am usually happy most days, but that does not mean that I am ready to lose my ever effing mind a lot of the
Mhm.
time
Yeah.
because of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm proud of
Yeah.
you for acknowledging that. I think too, a nuance to how we process all that happens is we've been doing this for a while, right? So I think internally, systematically acknowledge and flush, right? Like
Yeah, I would say
these
you're right.
things happen and we're on autopilot kind of thing.
Yeah. Mhm.
And it's not really until something specific happens that tips the scales, pushes us over the line, whatever you want to call it. But then really we vent about it to each other or to a
Yeah.
friend or in therapy, right? And then we're like, okay,
Then it's done. Yeah.
we're done, right? But that doesn't give us the space to truly sit with our feelings and tell ourselves, like have that conversation. It's okay that I'm pissed off. It's okay that I'm angry, sad, mad, overwhelmed, whatever. And acknowledge it for what it is. Because I think the more and more we don't do that, the less and less we're able to show up accurately
Yeah, or
for
how
our
long can we
people.
keep doing the flush?
Yeah.
Like, if you're
At some
constantly having
point,
to
our
flush.
toilet is backed up,
Yeah,
frankly, you
yeah.
know?
Yeah, so exactly. I was just talking with my therapist the other day about just it's a recurring I wouldn't even call it a fight. It's just a recurring argument that we seem to have every single week like clockwork, and it's just never getting resolved. Like, it'll get resolved and then it just comes back, and it gets resolved and it comes back, and it gets resolved and it comes back, and it's exhausting. I was telling her,
Mhm.
I'm like, at some point, I don't know when I'm gonna reach the point where I just throw up my I mean, hopefully I don't, but, like, where I reach the point where I throw up my hands and be like, "You know what? I don't care anymore. Like, I'm not having this argument over
Mhm.
and over and over," and I know it's not him, it's, partly the mental illness, and it gets stuck into even he will acknowledge, he'll send me TikToks on, like, your brain goes into a familiar pattern. So when we're angry, sometimes we just, we it's a familiar pattern that our brain loops down into, I feel like it's that, and I feel like maybe he even knows that it's that, but it doesn't stop it from happening. So I'm like ready to lose my mind sometimes. So stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, gosh, I could think of several examples over the last couple of weeks. I mean, we talked about this before we started recording, but like, it's that conversation where when they get in whatever state of mind, but they're emotionally flooded, they're not necessarily in an episode. Maybe they are. It doesn't matter. Point is, it's so predictable
Yes. Yep.
that even that predictability is annoying.
I even know what he'll say now. It's been
Yep.
happening so often that I know what I will do and this will happen. I'll do this and that'll happen. I'll say this and that'll happen because that is how predictable it is. And
Yes.
sometimes it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't. Because even if I know, well, if I do this, don't do that because that'll happen. If I do this, don't do that because that'll happen. It
Hmm.
doesn't matter because the end result is he wants to be angry about said topic again. And it's
Yes.
very predictable. Very predictable.
Yes. And, those things come with you're manipulating me, or you're a master manipulator, or you're trying to control the situation. Okay.
Yep.
I'm taking a breath there because I'm feeling it these days.
I'm sorry.
But
I totally feel you.
I want to make one thing clear. I've had this conversation in my head probably 12 times, legit 12 times in the last week, like last 7-day period. I'm about to sneeze. Maybe, maybe not. But this concept of, it's not a concept, the reality. This is the reality. Just because you have situational self awareness and you have an understanding and awareness of how your person presents and the things they're going to say do, that does not make you a manipulator.
Right.
Being aware of the situation and what it could look like and how things could go based on your actions or inaction isn't you manipulating the situation. It's actually a form of hypervigilance, right? Like you
Yes,
are
I would say it's
aware
hypervigilance. Yep.
and you're trying to choose the path of least
Yep.
resistance. But to the person, it could come across as manipulation. And that is one of my most frustrating points that I hear about. You just want to control me. You're a manipulator. You don't care. You just want to act like you care. And again, I know this is the almost not my husband.
Yes.
At the same time, when you hear that over and over and over again, we're human. We're going to internalize that and be like,
Yeah.
wait a minute, maybe I am controlling. Wait a minute, maybe I am manipulating him. And then all of a sudden, you're in this conversation with yourself or maybe ChatGPT or Google until you feel comfortable saying, "Hey Laura, I have a question." Right? Like it's just
Mhm.
this stage of pure chaos where you're gaslighting yourself, talking yourself out of your own clarity, and it blows,
Yeah, it
frankly.
can make you feel crazy. And actually, this literally happened last weekend. So, my daughter has special needs, as I mentioned. She is not allowed on devices anymore because she can't be safe on them. So she's got a child's watch called a Gizmo, and it has those select contacts on there. And she wasn't following the rules with my sister, who's a teacher and can't have her phone blowing up all day long while Ashlyn is here. And so she asked me if I could talk to her about it. And I was talking to her about it, and Cody overheard it. And This was like on a Friday night or a Saturday night. So normally we would spend time together on one of these, both of those nights, frankly, we
Mhm.
would. And he likes that. Like, I feel like a love language of his is quality time for sure. And so I was talking to her and he was like, no, we have to be black and white. We've tried to teach her, it's not working. I'm just deleting your sister as a contact. And he did. Like, there was no discussion about it. And it wasn't so much that he deleted my sister as a contact, it was that my reality in general of being a mom to someone who's 16 that can't even handle a child's watch just bummed me out. Like, I was just really effing sad about it.
Sad. Yeah.
Yeah. And I usually don't cry, but on the rare occasions that I do, I will get accused of being manipulative. Like, I'm just doing it to get out of quality time because I don't love him, I don't care about him, blah, 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 and I don't. So I knew that was where it was gonna go, but I honestly couldn't control it. Like, I was just really bummed out. And so
Yeah.
I left the house, like, took a drive, sat in a parking lot in a restaurant by our house. And he asked me where I went, and I just said, I was honest. I was just having a moment. I was very sad. And he was like, tell me what you're sad about. And I was like, that's where you do this, Brooke, where I'm like, well, if I tell him
If
while
I
I'm
tell you that.
sad, yeah, he's just going to accuse me of I don't love him, like I think he's a bad dad, blah blah blah. When it wasn't really that, it was a culmination of things. So I tried to stay ambiguous and I was like, I
Mhm.
will be back. I just needed a minute. And he's like, "Why aren't you here? You could talk to me about it." But I cannot talk to him about it because I will be accused of being manipulative.
Yep.
It's just the way it is. I don't even have pattern recognition. And it's been such a pervasive pattern through our whole relationship. I know that's going to happen. So, I did that. And then it's still like even choosing that, which I thought, okay, I'm just going to stay gone for 45 minutes. He won't see me cry. I won't get accused of being manipulative. We can just go back on. Life is normal. I came
Mm.
back and he was still pissed. And he
Yeah.
still was saying that I was doing it to be manipulative and I didn't want to hang out with him and I don't love him. And so the end result was still the same. It didn't matter. I guess I should have just stayed home and cried. And then that would have been the excuse why I didn't love him. Like, it's stuff like that. Anyway, I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's totally stuff like that. But herein lies, I think, the most frustrating part of that for us. Like, yes, all of that's frustrating and it's exhausting, yes. But what we don't talk about because it gets overshadowed and that's not by fault. It just our podcast is what it is, and we're here to help the spouses, partners, and loved ones with a mental illness, specifically bipolar disorder. So that's where our
Yes.
conversations go towards.
Yes.
What we don't talk about is in those moments, we are denying ourselves the space to have, excuse my words, fucking feelings.
Yeah. Yeah.
We are unintentionally prioritizing their feelings, their triggers over ours,
Mhm.
but not even prioritizing it necessarily. We're ignoring it. We're not justifying that we can have feelings. We're finding ways to not justify showing these feelings.
Yeah.
And that's the space where I think a lot of people, I mean, ourselves included, like that's hard to navigate. That's a hard space to be in because if you would have said, Laura, Cody, I cannot talk to you right now about what's going on because I know what will happen. Same reaction. Cody, I'm not comfortable having this conversation with you right now, but maybe in a couple days we could talk about it. Same reaction.
Yep.
Okay. So no matter which direction you go with it, if you're going to be met with that same response, I mean, internally, your brain knows there's no safe road.
Yeah. I was just what was flashing in my brain was not safe, not safe, not safe. And he hates that, by the way.
Yeah,
So, like,
sure.
even the next morning, he still was like, "Please tell me why you were crying." And in that space, in the morning space, when we're getting ready to start our day and we were busy and there's not a chance at quality time, yes, I believe I can have that conversation now and it won't go
Hmm.
south because
Yeah.
his brain is looking. I feel like it's like looking for Laura
Scanning.
doesn't want, yeah, Laura doesn't want to spend quality time with me. What is the evidence that Laura doesn't want to spend quality time with me? Where in the morning, where we know it's probably not quality time, like,
Right.
anything, like you're just doing your day, there's not that scanning going on. So now
Mm.
I know I can talk to him about it. And I did.
Yep. Yeah. But when you do that over and over again, like in the morning when you know you can talk to him, you're not, yes, that's great. That's wonderful. But you're also going to him to talk to him with this, I don't want to call it resentment because maybe it's not there, but some people maybe it is there. but it's also like additional, it's an added layer of anger, frustration. I mean, frankly, it's unfair at times,
Yeah,
right?
I
And
would
it,
say it more feels unfair. I mean, for me, there's no anger or resentment in the morning because I do think he genuinely wanted to know. But when it's in a space where we're spending time together and he's scanning for reasons I don't want to spend
mhm,
time with him, I know how it's going to end, even though I do think even in that moment, he genuinely did care why I was upset. It's
mhm,
just that whatever the reason was, he was going to blame himself. That's what was
yeah,
going to happen. Where
yeah,
in the
for sure.
morning, he wasn't.
Yeah,
But yeah, just knowing just navigating that, yeah, I guess I could be accused of being manipulative, but it's hypervigilance and
yeah.
feeling safe and being safe.
Mhm. And you're trying to prevent something from getting made into something it's not, which
Yeah.
even doing that, it still happens. So, like,
Yeah.
and that's the care. That's the other point of this ever never stopping, like, hamster wheel. That's the point they don't see, that
Mhm.
we don't point out, because how are you gonna
Mhm.
point that out?
No.
But it's like, "Look, I want you to know that, like, I spent time, effort, energy trying to figure out, like, the best possible way for me to approach this conversation." It wasn't
Mhm.
just, "I'm just gonna say it because I don't care." Like, words
Yeah.
have meanings, words have weight, they impact people. So, I'm consciously making an effort to approach you and this conversation based on this topic in the way that I feel you will receive it the best.
Mhm.
And that is met with, "You're manipulating me." And that's so disheartening and so frustrating.
Yeah. Yeah, and for me, it's not necessarily met with "You're manipulating me," but it's met with, "See, there's proof that you don't wanna be with me. See,
Yeah.
there's proof that you can't," whatever. That's what it's met with in my situation, but
Mhm.
both I think are equally as frustrating and
Yeah.
disheartening because it's like, "Well, that wasn't it at all, but cool, we're here again."
Yes, and
Like,
here
no
we
matter
are.
what route I took.
We have arrived at the same destination, you know?
Yeah.
And it's, yeah, yeah, he may not call you a manipulator, but essentially the reality, actually, now that I'm mapping this out, like, his brain has manipulated you in the situation in order to get the result he wants, which is the answer. And that answer will always prove his theory of the concern, the insecurity, the trauma, what that's tied to it, right? Which is like, you don't love me, you don't want to spend time with me.
Yes.
And
Yeah. That is
that
very
is the
ironic.
reason that no matter what you say, you're going to arrive at the same destination.
Yeah.
That's the reason.
Ironically so. That is the reason,
But
is
can
that
you
the
tell him
illness
that in the
has
moment?
no.
No.
No, and yeah, definitely not in the moment, and even just having that conversation, I mean, what does that really look like? A poor me
Right.
conversation? Like, "Hey, I need you to know, like, how hard this is to navigate for me sometimes," and blah I mean, because ultimately, when we talk about responsibility, it's my responsibility as someone who stays with him and has chosen and accepted being a caregiver role at times, so
Mhm.
then it's not his responsibility to fix that. It's my
Right.
responsibility to find ways like going to therapy or talking about it with a friend like you in order to navigate it and kind of deal with those feelings. But, again, I always hesitate because of stigma. So if it was with anything else, like I was even thinking a lot of times I compare it to dementia just because, dementia is progressive. So people where bipolar is cyclical. And so with dementia, if this happened like with my grandma, for example, like you're on
Mhm.
loops with people with dementia too. And it could be hurtful loops. My mom, visited her every day or every other day in the nursing home and came home always exhausted, disheartened, sad, like she was losing her mom
Mhm.
slowly, even though her mom was
Mhm.
physically here. And so, like, that was okay to talk about, and this is okay to talk about too. I'm just saying there's not the stigma in society. Like,
Yeah.
everyone
No, I get it.
would understand that my mom was feeling that way, and had sympathy for that,
Mhm.
where it feels like with this, it's not the same grace given.
Yeah, no, no, because they don't understand the
Yeah,
illness. If there's
yeah.
no understanding, if you don't understand something, how can you possibly provide empathy or compassion? You can't. You just can't.
Yes, true.
So, yeah, I mean, that tracks. Yeah. I mean, and I think the other day-to-day stuff that we're talking about today is to give you all listeners, I don't even know the right word, menopause brain. They need to create an app for that where it's like, I'm thinking about this thing, but I don't know the name of it. Drives me crazy. Anyway, where it's so hard to explain that, like, your thoughts and feelings are thoughts and feelings. They're not good, they're not bad, they're just thoughts that inform how you feel, right? Society, in my opinion, has put this spin on thoughts of, well, they're either good or they're bad. But that's actually untrue. If you truly take away everything, I can say, I like a drink of water. Oh, I would like a drink of water. Is that a good thought? Is that a bad thought?
Yeah, it's
It's
neutral.
not. It's neutral. It becomes good by society deeming, oh, you're doing healthy things for your body. That's where things,
Mhm.
all of a sudden have a bucket and a label. So my point is, you are allowed to think the thoughts, have the thoughts that inform your feelings. It's what you choose to do with those feelings that impacts others, right? How you respond impacts people. So I don't want people listening to us right now and in other episodes where they're like, God, I just wish I could be more like Laura and Brooke and just not do what I'm doing. Or "Oh, I wish I could say what or do what they're telling me to say, but I can't, you know what I mean? Like, you're beating yourself up because you're having thoughts and feelings that aren't in line with maybe what we're talking about. But the reality is, we've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
That autopilot we were talking about earlier and the auto flush, like we're already there, but we
Mhm.
have been where you are.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
we still sit where you are a lot of times because we
Mhm.
also have to process this shit and it's
Yes.
not easy. So give yourself that grace to just exist in those feelings and tell yourself it's okay, right? Just do it. I'm allowed to be mad. That's where this phrase comes from. And Jeremy will recently, he's been telling me I say this a lot, where it's like, you always say, I'm allowed to feel my feelings, or you don't allow me to feel my feelings. It can go either way.
Mhm.
And that this is what I'm talking about. I'm not communicating it well to him. But when I have feelings and he responds in a certain way that shuts me down from being able to feel my feelings, the result is I don't feel like I am allowed to have feelings.
Mhm.
He's not intentionally saying you're not allowed to have feelings, but he's not creating an environment that makes me feel safe and comfortable feeling those feelings. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's exactly what I was talking about crying in my car. It's not that I feel like Cody was doing it on purpose. I certainly don't think he is. I do think there
No.
was a piece of him that genuinely wanted to know why I was upset, but ultimately the illness wins. In
Yeah.
those situations,
Mhm.
the illness wins. And so I have
Yep.
to adjust.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
So
I
true.
definitely feel that way a lot. Like I will that resonates with me a lot because I will feel that way in my head too. Like we're so consumed with his feelings and, dad's mental illness that I really can't have a space to have share my own. And
Mhm.
so where I do that would be in therapy and stuff, like, to get that out. Cause yeah, I feel like it's very much that way too. And I really don't know what you do about that. Like, I think that
Yeah.
that is the reality. I was in this, I think I've talked about this before, but I did an interview with like this group of women who wrote a book about being parents to children with disabilities that would have lifelong disabilities. And the
Mhm.
question always is like, what are you doing for self care? How are you making sure you're taking care of yourself? And one of the main moms that wrote the book was like, you know what? She's like, having that pressure of always like, make sure you're taking care of yourself, make sure you're taking care of yourself when that wasn't the reality sometimes. She's like, almost added more pressure or just like more emotional instability than me just being like, you know what? It isn't a season for me to take care of myself right now. That is my reality. And just
Mhm.
accepting reality was better for her than having
Yeah.
to be like, oh,
That
So I
makes
think that a lot of times that's the state that I go in not even knowing. But I resonated that not only with Ashlyn, but then with Cody, because that is certainly like, yeah, my feelings can't really be known at the moment here.
yeah. And, like, I think we talked about that, yeah, we talked about that in season 2, episode 10, "Our emotions don't disappear, they wait."
Oh, yes, perfect. Thank you. I'm
Yes.
glad that you brought that up to direct people to that. And the other thing I want to make sure people aren't hearing from this episode is that we're recommending you walk on eggshells. That's a completely different
No.
thing altogether. So it just popped in my head that maybe someone listening to this might be thinking that's what we're
No,
recommending.
yeah. Fair point.
Yeah. Yeah, so I just wanna say that, like, this is different than walking on eggshells. I do not walk on eggshells, and if I ever feel like I have to walk on eggshells, it's immediate boundary with a consequence.
Yeah.
So
That's
and
yeah.
we have other episodes on that, but this is very different. This is not walking on eggshells. This is
Yeah. Yep. I agree. So yeah, I think overall the day-to-day stuff is just, it can be a lot. It is a lot. It can be exhausting, it can be tiring, but it can also be rewarding. And I do think there is that knowledge is powerful. And the more that you take the time to reflect what's happening in life, the more that you can learn from those interactions with yourself or with your person, and then use that to fuel, the next time that you run into the same kind of situation. But one thing, we'll end on this one. Sorry. I thought I put my phone on silent. I did not. Glad I wasn't. Everything okay? He just said, "Are you still recording?" Uh, what did I say? The one thing I was going to end on. I hate ADHD brain sometimes.
I'm trying to remember what you said.
Oh, and it was a good one too.
You said sometimes it can be rewarding as well.
So
Okay, so it was a
I
positive, it
remembered.
could be beautiful. Okay.
Yes, positive. It can be beautiful, and what I had to say was not positive or beautiful. Why did that stick to my head? But anyway, one of the most recent frustrations that I've had been having is I'm hearing from my husband that I handle things the same way every time. Like I don't change my response no matter how many times Jeremy will talk to me about something, really matter what. But obviously it's not like a positive conversation where he's telling me how he feels.
Mhm.
And I've heard that over and over and over and over again. He's not wrong. I've heard that a lot. And I sit in this space where I'm like, okay, that makes sense what he's saying. Like, if my response to him telling me how he feels about something isn't working for him, then I need to do something different. My problem, it's not a problem. My concern, what I'm trying to flush out is when he's telling me how he feels, it's usually when he's in an episode. I am not going to change my response to him when he's in an episode
Mhm.
because that would mean I have to engage more
Mhm.
with the illness.
Yeah.
That is our argument that's on loop. And then his response to that is, it's fine. I'll just change. I'll just do the work. Essentially saying, like, he's been doing the work in therapy from the beginning. He's the one responsible for making all the changes to be a better person for me. I can't do that one thing, which makes me feel like absolute garbage. I don't know what to do with that.
Yeah,
Truly.
that's really hard because I mean, engaging like we talk about all the time separating your person from the illness, but the thing is that Cody will say that even though I can clearly do that, he can't do that for himself. And so there are times that he has very valid feelings that he only will feel comfortable expressing when he's not in a good mental state. So
Same.
then okay, so it's like, I hear
It's the
that
same.
and I
Mhm.
understand that, but, if you're only going to feel safe expressing those feelings when you're in an episode, we're not going to be able to work through those feelings because I cannot engage in your illness. So, I think, yeah, you're saying it's the same. That is
It's
the
the
crux of the
same.
problem. So, I think they're
Yes.
feeling like, maybe he's feeling invalidated by the fact that you're not acknowledging this, but the problem is if he's only bringing these feelings out in an episode, we're at a standstill.
We're absolutely at a standstill.
Yeah.
And it's like my argument, and I'm not even arguing, my defense, but I'm not trying to defend myself. Like, I'm just saying that, like, and I've said this, if you and I could have this conversation where it's a conversation, it doesn't turn into this essentially calling me a manipulative, sadistic asshole.
Sorry, it's not funny, but it's just if you live our life, you've been there.
If you know, you know. Okay. While demanding this is how you really feel, but yelling it in a way where you think the veins in their head are going to explode.
Right.
And then we're going to have a crime scene investigation over a blown vein. Like if we could rein that in
Yeah, exactly.
and be able to communicate this, I'd be willing to hear it and respond to it. But I have trained myself intentionally, unintentionally at first, but intentionally to protect myself
Yeah.
from this illness
Yeah.
so much that I'm not willing to change that.
And that's how we know he's in an episode when he's saying it as opposed to him, Jeremy, him, Cody saying it, is because they are using those names like manipulative, sadistic bitch. Like they would never call us that. Okay. Like the real men would never call us that. But that's how we know they're in some sort of episode or
Mhm.
mixed state because they're doing that. So that is an exact thing when we talk about, and when I was just saying earlier how this is different than walking on eggshells, that is the exact point it crosses into walking on eggshells. Because now, if you're going to be verbally abusive or emotionally abusive, or I feel unsafe in some way, my job as the person here, when I feel unsafe, is to set a boundary with a consequence and get out of that situation. Like,
Yeah.
you don't get to continue doing that. But then I
No.
do hear and I understand that then they feel invalidated because we're just responding the same way. Well, I mean, sorry. If you
Yeah.
can't talk about it outside that, then that's where we're at.
Yeah. Well, good. I'm glad to hear that because I'm literally like,
Yeah, like, been
I don't
racking
know
your
what
brain
else to
trying to think
do.
of a different yeah.
And I also respond the same way when he asks about going to a hotel. And he just likes that kind of stuff outside of being manic or depressed. Um, he just likes going and staying in hotels and getting out of the house. That's his thing. That's fine. But it's not my thing. And now I have
Mhm.
trauma attached to, hey, let's go to a hotel.
Right,
So
yeah.
I'm like,
So that
wait,
doesn't feel
what?
safe anymore. Right,
No, it's
yeah,
not. And
mhm,
he knows that.
yeah,
And he was like, he'll just say in response, like, well, it would just be nice if one time you're like, okay, cool, have fun. And I'm like, I,
right.
it's
I mean,
not,
yeah,
it's not the
but
same thing.
lots of things would be nice, but they aren't reality. It'd be nice
Mm-mm.
if I had $1,000,000 just once in
Sure.
my lifetime. That would be great. That's not
Yeah.
reality based on what has happened in the past and what is
No.
continuing in the present. Like it's the same. Like, sure, that does sound nice, but
Mm-hmm.
that's not reality.
Uh-uh. And for whatever reason, there's an association with talking about going to a hotel when I'm always at work, literally every time.
And you're like 2 hours away.
And it's a text message. It's never a phone call to say,
Right.
hey, what do you think? Where I can like gauge. It's a
Yeah, that
text.
actually adds a lot of context because I was gonna say, even if you were in the same room and he was just like, "You know what? I need to get out of the house. You wanna get a hotel tonight together?" or something like that, like, you probably wouldn't have the same reaction then, but because it's very similar to a traumatic event, like, of course, even if your brain could wrap yourself around not reacting that way, your body will never be able to because the body keeps the score.
It does. You're
Yeah.
so right. And I try intentionally to like, okay, Brooke, we're going to do this a little different. We're not going to respond in the same way that we always do because we always hear about this. Do you know what happens? The same
Same
shit.
destination.
Yep. The same thing. Because again, there's an,
Yeah.
even when he wasn't, I mean, he was in physical pain a couple weeks ago and depressed, but not, I could still reach him. It wasn't bad. And he wanted to go to a hotel because he wanted to soak in a bathtub that he fits in. The man's 6'5". He doesn't fit in our bathtub. So I could logically understand that.
Mhm.
I have no problem with that.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Logically, you can understand, but your body goes into that you really can't help that PTSD response,
Mm-mm.
unfortunately. And so, yes, it
No.
would be nice. Trust me, it would be nice if we
Mm-hmm.
could.
Yep. Yeah, for sure.
But yeah.
Yeah. But ultimately that just brought it back full circle for me because what I did was I tried to mitigate that conversation so that it didn't go in the direction it always goes by doing something differently. But ultimately, I forced it to go the direction. That wasn't him that time. That was all me. Like I steered it in that direction unintentionally by trying to proactively avoid it while not being fully transparent about how I felt. But also, I'm at work and I was in a meeting where we were supposed to be cell phone free for wellness. It was like a wellness check meeting. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's just so many different parts of this that are obviously weighing on me. But I think the point of today is really just to see, like, we also go through some shit. Like, we also experience the similar frustrations and arguments and spats and
Yeah, for
pissing
sure.
contests. We do. And our goal of the podcast is to provide, directional support, guidance, and help instead of just sitting here explaining this stuff. But it's
Yeah, and
also important.
authenticity.
Yes, yes. We want to give you all, okay, here, for me, it's this. Other people are doing the same thing that we're doing. They're having these same conversations with friends and family that aren't probably going great. So
Yeah, exactly.
our response to that is let's give them something great that isn't what
Yeah,
they're getting from others
yeah,
that can be helpful. But
yeah,
this conversation is not talked about because we're trying to be the helpful part.
yeah, exactly.
But this is also helpful,
Yeah, I
for
think
us.
so. Well, even for others, I think even people,
Oh yeah.
it never fails to shock me every time I get a DM in TikTok that says, "I just binged all your videos. I don't feel alone anymore." And
Hmm.
I'm just a stranger on the internet that's not even interacting with them. They're just watching videos. You know what I mean? And like,
Yeah.
just it can be a very lonely place. And as you said, talking to friends and family doesn't go well because they don't understand. And so,
Yep.
yeah, just knowing that you're not alone, I think is helpful.
Hmm. I mean, that's how we connected.
Yeah,
A stranger on the internet.
it's true.
I binge watched your videos and I was like, holy hell, this is my life. So yeah. Yeah, I think it's definitely helpful. But I guess that's it. I've rambled on for forever about all kinds of things. But so thanks for letting me vent. Appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, and if you enjoyed this episode, then you will enjoy our bonus content because we might actually even talk about more specifically the topics, you
There's
know.
no might. We
Yeah, we
absolutely
do.
talk about. I
Line
will
holders
force
club.
Laura.
Line holders club. We're kind of wild in there.
We're definitely more unhinged. Yeah, for sure. But it's also a great time. So yeah, if you wanna get that peek behind the curtain, check us out, line holders. Membership subscription? I don't know. I feel weird about saying that, and I can edit this part out too. But when it shows up for us on my end, it says subscription. But when it's presented, it looks like a membership. It doesn't matter. I'm marking that. God, my ADHD is out of control today. I should probably just leave that in. Like, well, that's how Brooke's brain worked. That's what's happening. Anyway, all right, I'll leave it in. There you go. What else? Let's see. Blind Holders Club, yes. Don't forget, we have if you don't want to do a monthly subscription to help support our podcast and where we're trying to go with this, don't forget we have the Buy Me a Coffee link, Buy Me a Coffee /bipolar lines. On there, you can support us financially with $1 if you want to. You don't have to, but there's an option. We always have people asking about that, whether that's DMs or in some of the comments on Facebook groups. So that's also an option. And I have to hold myself accountable here. My goal for 2026 with TikTok was to post videos every day. That did not happen. Okay. I did really well for like 30 days. And then here we are. So I'm still on the TikTok at break_the stigma, but yeah, I was derailed for some time, but I still have videos, I answer DMs, etc.
And I'm on there too, the BP spouse. You can always DM me.
Yes. And if you want to watch us do this magical thing called recording podcast, we're on the YouTube
We're
as
there.
well. If you don't watch it on Spotify. So yeah, check us out there. We post episodes every other week on the main feed. It's free. And again, Bipolar Lines Pod is our Facebook group. So you can go check us out there.
Yeah, so another great conversation. And as always, thanks for showing up for your person. And we'll see you next time.
See you next time.